Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me on my channel. I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick video here for you guys on literally on the pick three, the rundown system, the story system that I have here for us. So we're gonna go ahead and just dive in here, and today we're gonna be working on the pick three, the back pair doubles, which is going to be any number that has, let's say 022 is a back pair double. There is like 033, 455, just any pairs, any pair double in the back is going to be, that's what we're going to be looking at today. And today we're going to be going into the pick three history. So let's go into 2024. So here is the lottery page that we're going to be using. So I'm just going to pick some random numbers. I have not chosen any numbers or nothing like that. So we're just going to pick off of this sheet. So this is January 2024. So if you see any type of back pairs, there's one right here, 155. And we'll just go through the list. We'll just go through the list of if every time we see one, we can play it out and see how everything else comes out. That way we can understand how to use this spreadsheet that I have here, which is the rundown system, which the cool thing about the system here is it has a story format on the front, which is any number that you find. So let's say, for an example, that 155 automatically changes here when you enter that number. And it gives you everything else from the sum, the root sum, the mirror numbers, the individual digits, the pairs of three ways it can be calculated. Also the A and B and A and C and B, C. See, this says here A and B is 1, 5, so they add a 1 in the front. And then the A and B is flipped around, which is 5, 5, 1. So all these are different ways of playing this 1, 5, 5. And then down here, and then all you do is just press this best rundown. It automatically changes to what type of rundown you can use to play, because the double digits on these ones is since it's a double, either the front pair or the back pair, 223 rundown is the best one that I've noticed that you can use. And this is a type of a double here. So if it was 123, it'll change. It's a single digits. If it's a 111, it's going to change it to a triple. So this one is a 155 number that we're going to be playing. So it's a double number here, lets you know. And that's why this one is a rundown setup for 223. And then the second sheet that I have here is also part of the system. Here is, you have literally three sheets. This one is just one of the doubles I'm working on right now. So I've just chose a bunch of numbers, front pairs, back pairs. I organize it to where everything else is there. So that way I'm going to put this into a system here pretty soon. So those are some of the updates that's coming through. But the system here that I have is, this is the data sheet for any update numbers that you have. And it always goes down to here. So any type of numbers that comes in, you can always put it in here. And then these are all organized based off of what kind of rundowns to play with. And this is pulling here into the system here. So this is more the data stuff here that pulls all your dates and stuff here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and make this work. So let's go ahead and change this. It says, so the story system tells us to go to the 223 rundown. So we'll go ahead and put that in. So we'll go ahead and switch this over to 223. And this cool thing about this one, so let's put 155. That mirror number will be 0, actually it's going to be 600, 600, right? So if let's say if I change this to a 111 rundown, I run it, everything changes to a 111 rundown for you automatically, right? So then if I switch this to a 123, everything else is now changed to a 123. So this one stays the same, 2468. This one is 369. Then if you change it again, 223. Here's the rundown for that. So each of these rundowns all goes all the way to 999. So these are some of the popular ones. A lot of people like to use a 730 number rundown. They can go ahead and look for numbers based off of that. So that's the cool thing about the sheet, is it gives you automatically up quick way to search update certain numbers and stuff like that for you. And on the left side here is just the mirror numbers. If you do flip numbers here, if you'd like to play with the flip side of it, here's all your numbers as a cheat sheet. So this is a simple basic sheet, but it is, I think it's very powerful because you can search faster among the different rundowns that you can use. So that way you can always, and I added this here. A lot of the sheets that I just is available right now doesn't have this, but I'll be adding that. So I'll be updating this sheet pretty soon. So when you get it, you'll find that you can always, if you bought from me, any type of updates that I do will always be given to you for free. Okay, so it's always going to be available to you for any changes that comes through. Okay, so that's how this whole thing works. All right, so let's go ahead and test this out. So right now we're looking at the 155 number. The date that we're going to be looking at here is going to be on January the 3rd. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the 155 and then the 3rd. So let's go ahead and change this to a 3. Now highlights all the 3 for us. All right, so we already updated this here. And so we'll go ahead and move this around to see where this will go ahead and be placed here. So let's go ahead and update this. And the way I like to play this is I like to put this 3 inside of this green box here. And the mirror of the mirror of the 3 will be the 8, right? So let's go ahead and flip this around and put the 3 up here. So what it is, let's see. So I have to put in 9, 3, 7, 4, 8, 2, 4, 8, 2, run. Now the 3 is there. Right, so now next number that came up here is going to be the numbers always plays around what date it is. So this was on the 3rd. So we're going to go here. It says 03 is the 3rd, 03 is the 3rd, and then 03 is the 3rd. Right, so that's how this one was going to be playing here. So let's go ahead and look at the next number. What number came up here? So here it is. The sheet. The next day's number is oh, this is 2025. Where did my other sheet go? So we're looking at 2024. Oh, there it is. Here you go. Right there. 050. That's the number that came up here. So here we go. There it is though. So it's 005. Right? It's gonna be always around the 3. If I go down here against this 3, it doesn't provide much. It has the 2 5s. But if I go down here, it plays 00, but there's no, the 5 is down here. It's on the other side of the 3. Right, so if I flip this around, let's go ahead and since pick 3, 2, 2, 3. These numbers don't change when you flip the numbers. So all I do is change the 2 to a 7. And there it is. See, like if you flip it, 9 still here, 3 still here. Now you change it to the 7 here. Now the 8 is up here, and the 0 has disappeared on this one. All right, so it's 055 here instead of the 005. So the other side of it is 050. They're all right here. All right, so that's how this one played out. I mean, you can always test numbers too. So instead of switching these out, sometimes you can always just play based on the sheet itself. So let's do 60. Oh, it's 155 600. Right, so 600. So instead of playing the mirror number here, you can always play the mirror number here as well. So you put 600. That's going to be 155. So now that the sheet on itself is, if you're playing the mirror number itself, then the sheet itself. Okay. So now if you look at it this way, there's 2 zeros here above the 3, but there's no 5. All right. So I'm going to bring this 0 to 3 down here. So let's do 487 932 932. Now we got a 3 in the box. Still here, the 2 double 5s are here, but the 5 is down here. The double zeros are here, but the 5 is down here. But then if you go look at other areas, I mean, around the 3s, so that's where the next numbers come up as. And sometimes you can always play the same sheet because each of these numbers here are the dates. All right, so if you go down to the 4th, so let's say instead of messing with the sheet around, but I want to play the same sheet, and let's play the next day after the 3rd. All right, so let's play the 4th. So now we can bring the 4 into this box here. So we're going to go ahead and move that. 828 373 373. Now we're going to highlight this as a 4. So now all the 4s are updated. So the next day's number is going to be right there, the fourth, 424. And look at this, 4, 2, right here, 442. It's highlighting the fours all around here. And then down here, 242. So it's 424, 424, 42. This one has a double four, so 424 down this way too. So all the fours are wrapped around there. So sometimes you can play the same number as the sheet, but just change the date on it. So if we move this to because this is also the outside doubles, right? It goes to outside doubles. So here again, let's look at the fifth without changing the sheet at all or the number. And let's say you're playing that. So let's say we move the five in this box. So we find the five is here. So the number that we're going to put up here is going to be, it's two spaces, 1, 2, 3. So you just count 1, 2, 3. So the 269 goes in this box. 714. 714. So that's the mirror number. So now we put the 5 in this box. Highlights all the 5 for us. So now there's only one 5 in this, but the other 5s are all on the other side. Maybe if you start testing these sheets out, maybe the numbers play mostly on all the way all the 5s are at, but sometime they play here. So the very next day on the 5th, the number played as 626. So 2 6 is right on above the 5, and there's a 1 here, right? So then if you would have played the 6 2, see it went up this way. So 6 6 and then 2. Because that's how this number is played. So the best way to find that out to do this is you got to flip the 5 and the 0. So that means that you got to switch that 9 to, it's going to be a 4. Because these numbers, even though we change this, it's not going to change because this is the mirror number of the 9. So we flip it around. Now it came up here. So now the 5th is here, right? The 5th of January, 266, right? That's the number. 626 is Friday the 5th. See, 626 because it's based off of the 5th right here, 05. Makes sense? So it's just based on the date, so you can still keep the same sheet over and over. Even like if you don't move anything here, look at this. On the 6 itself is 248. And look at the date here. The date, this is 248, and then there's a 6 right here. So let's call that green. Right between that is 248, right? So 248 right under the 6. So if I remove that color, and let's move this into the 6 here, and we don't change any sheets, it's still right here, 248 against the 6. See how a goes diagonally, showing you that the 6s are here. But if I switch this out and put the 6 up here, which is going to be 600, 155, right? Still the same 155 that we've been playing from the beginning. Still the same 248, 666, right? 66. And that plays right in all along the 6s. So around the 6s, guess what? 248 down here, 248 right here. Around the 6, 248, 248. Then down here is 284, 248. So all around the 6s is showing 248. Get it? So, but that's really how this one played out, is the 155. So let's go to another one and let's test out if there's another double pair in the back right here on January the 11th. I'm sorry, January the 8th is the number 411. So let's do that. 411 966 966. All right. So we'll go ahead and run that. And now the date on that is the 9th. So we switch that to the 9. So all the 9s are here. All right. So from here, so we'll go ahead and put the one of the 9s in this box. And then this will be a 4 down here. So what we'll do is we'll bring up the 9, so which is 293, 748, 748. And there it is. There's a 9. So the next day's number is Since this is a 9, sometimes you got to understand if there's a ninth, if the date is a ninth, always try to think of it, it might come up as a mirror number as well. The 9 of the mirror is a 4, right? So we'll go ahead and test that out and see. So we'll go ahead and put it in. Next day's number is 467, right? So if you played around a 9, there's a 467 up here against this 9. There's a 674 going this way, right? And then this side is 467 this way because it's against the 4, right? If I had another button for the 4s, it'll probably highlight everything else. But if we go down here around the 4 itself is 496 against the 4 number here, right? And then on the ninth here, there's nothing there. And then the 9 here. So if we flip this around to the other mirror side of it, instead of putting it as a 3, we mirrored it to the 8th. And now it flips around. Now the 4 and the 9 are up here. Nothing there, right? But if you go down here, it's probably going to show again 674. See? Right? So then if you, let's say we play the same sheet and we want to keep the same sheet and play the next day, which is the 10th. So now you just got to find the zeros here. So let's highlight all the zeros, right? All the zeros. So the next day's number is, that's what's popular around the zero itself. There's a, so 0 here, so the 5, there's a 2, there's a 6, there's a 2. So there's pretty much a lot of 2's around it, around the zeros. And let's see. There's a 5, there's a 2, there's a 7, there's an 8 wrapped around the 0. So then there's 1's. So these 1's might be 6's as well down here. All right. So 2. So there's a lot of 2 6's here because there's a whole bunch that's attached to the 1 around the 0 itself. So let's put the 0 in here. That will be 6, 3, 4, 1, 8, 9, 1, 8, 9. So there's all the zeros. So it might be a 5, 2, it might be a 7, it might be a 6, 5, 2, 7, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 1, 5, 2, 6. Then this side is 8, 7, 2, 7. So a lot of 7's and 2's and 8's, right? So let's go ahead and check the number here. The 10th, 5, 2, 6. See the 10th here? 5, 5, 2, 6 this way. 5, 2, 6. So you just got to choose around that. 5, 2, 6, 5 right here against this 0. Right? So it keeps like it goes into the other sheet because most players on pick 3 only plays one sheet and they tell you, so, okay, it might be here, 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 and then they'll try to say, oh, okay, you can probably jump to this number, but it doesn't make sense. But if you have a whole sheet like this, now you can cut across and understand like what this is playing in the mirror side of that. So if you would play the 11th, we go down to the 1's. Now the 11th is, let's see. So let's go ahead and put the 1 in here. And that's going to be 0, 7, 5, 5, 2, 0, 2, 0. So we got the 1's here now. And the 11th date is 5, 6, 5. So is there a 5, 6, 5 near the 1's? There's no 5, 6, 5 near the 1's, but all the 5's are up here. 5, 5, 5, 5, 2, 5, 5. So it goes this way. 5, 5, 6. Right? 5, 6, 5. Somehow the only one that's attached to the 1 is here. Right? So, but yeah, this one was a really good example because I mean, somehow number didn't really catch it because I mean we were playing the 11, the 411 chart, right? So that's what we're doing. But we're trying to find the next day's number, right? So when we did 411 and it goes to the ninth, It goes to the ninth, which the next day's number was 467. Right, 467. 4, 4, 6, right here, 467 wrapped around a 9. 4, 4, 6, 7's up here. So this one is attached to the 6, 7, 4. All right, so but that's a good information there. So let's check the next day or the next time the next double pair came up in the back, right there on the 13th. So we're gonna be looking for the 14th number. So it's 0, 8, 8, 5, 3, 3. So we can run that, and we're looking for the 14th. And guess what? The 14th is already sitting inside of it. So we just change this number to a 14. And then from there, it played off as that. And the 14th is here. And the next day's number is 315. Right here, 153. 153. Down here, 513. 513 even plays straight across here. 531. And it's still attached to the 4. 513 attached to the 4. A lot of these are probably attached to the 9 as well. So if I switch this to the 9, let's see if 315 played against the 9. Right here, 3515 straight across. 351 straight across. 135 going this way. 135, 135, 513, 513. All right. So that's how this one played out. It didn't really play in this sheet, but it did play in the mirror number side of it. So if you would have switched this out to a 533, and that's going to be a 088. Now all the numbers came to here, and all the outside numbers are on this side. So it played off all the 9 and the 4s and 513. So it all crammed up right here in the middle. 513 straight. But didn't really play off the 9s. But let's say if we played off the 4s, then all the 4s are on this side. But it played off of the main sheet on this one, off the mirror number side of it. All right, so let's do one more, and we should be done on this one. So let's go to 011. I thought we did 011. Oh, we played 411. So let's try 011 again. 566. 566. And we're playing for the 17th. The 7th is already in there, so we'll go ahead and change this to a 7. And the next day's number is 881. So 7. Let's see where the double eights are right here. Double eights. But this one didn't play very well off the 7 itself. It's still attached to the 7 in the middle right here. 881. Or 8. So it's 881. It went straight down. So it played off of the number here and it will connect back to the other 7. This way, nothing that changed was the 3 here. But if I would flip this around and put it as a 6, now let's change to an 811 versus the 881. So it was more better this way. Because now here's 818. All right, so let's put this back as a 6 and let's put this as a 1. And the 7 move. Now let's change to an 861. This one is the 818. See, it goes back up here. So this would have been the 8 up here because it's down here. 818. Makes sense? And then the 7 here. So the 7 is down here. See, this side didn't play very well, but this one right here, right in the middle, 818, because it's playing off of the number itself. Because the 011 was the main winning number. The 818 played off right on the top. All right, so that's how this one played out. All right, so that's literally how you can play on the back pair doubles. So if you guys have any back pair doubles that have came up, sometimes you may use that as an anchor for the number. Sometimes you can also play it this way. Let me just show you one more thing. So let's say if a Monday number plays at 409. So let's take that 409. So the 409 is probably going to change what chart we're going to be using. So now everything else changes. We'll go ahead and give the rest rundown. So it plays off of the 649 chart. So we'll change this to 649 and the number is 409. That's going to be a 954. 954. You can probably find out all your so we're going to be finding out, see if we can get these two, the back pair here and the front pair here, to see if we can get those in. So the very next day was the date of the 16th. So we go and highlight the sixes. And so the sixes here. So the next day's number was 011. So the 16th here. So the 17th is what we're playing off of. So the 17th here, there's no 0. There's only 1 here. But then if you go to the 2 of the mirroring of the 7, guess what? 1, 1, 0 next to the 6. 0, 1, 1. All right. But then if we put the 7, the 7's already here. Oh, so let's change that to the 7. So the 7 is this way. Now the 7 is this way. 0, 0, 1. Wrapped around this, all the 7's. Down here is 0, 1, 1, 0. Because the next day's number was a double 0, or double ones and a 0. See, the 16 and the 17. 17th is 8, 8, 1. So if it's 7 right here, look, 8, 8, 1 wrapped around the 17. And if we do the 16th here, 16 wraps here, 0, 1, 1. 6, 0, 1, 1, 6, 1, 1, 0. So all the numbers are crammed here, and there's only 2 numbers on this side. All right, so the 811 is here, and then on the 18th, the 18th is here. The 18th goes to 195, 18. Then the night, see right here, 18th, 195. Then the 19th, 19th is here, and that number goes to 1012. Still attached to the 9, 012. Or it goes straight down this way or this way. All right, and then the next day is the 20th, which is a 0, is here. Here's the 20th, and that plays 407. There's a 70, but this is a 9. So you go up here, the 7, this is supposed to be a 0, this is a 9 over here. All right, so then if you go over here, 704, 704. That came as a 407. All right, so you can still don't move the chart, but just keep the same numbers. That's how it will play. Okay, so that'll be it. Well, thank you for watching. You guys have yourself a wonderful evening, and just subscribe, like this channel if you can. And I'll be putting some new stuff in here for you guys here soon as well. And I'll be sharing some free stuff here pretty soon too. So just keep a lookout for the free stuff that comes through. All right, then I can just post it on here on a link, and you guys can always get some. Maybe it's like a spreadsheet like this for free, or maybe I have a PDF file that I'm creating right now too. I'm thinking that might be a free stuff where you can just click on a number and it'll give you like the whole rundowns that's already pre-made, so that way you don't have to enter any number and just play off of the pre-made charts and stuff as well. Alrighty, well, you guys have a good night. Take care of yourself. Be safe.